Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. We have a really special session planned for you today. We're going to be talking about the power of purpose and how promoting a purpose at your company can drive lasting loyalty. My name is Jackson. I'm on the sales ops team here at RAZR. Just a couple of quick notes about the webinar before we jump in. It is being recorded and you will receive a copy afterwards. If you have any questions during the session, please feel free to drop them in the chat. That is in the bottom bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And we'll leave time at the end if we receive any questions to answer those. Thanks again for joining us today. Now I'd like to introduce our host, Sarah Cole. Sarah is a VP at RAZR, and she has been a driving force in the loyalty program development for top financial institutions for 13 years now. She has 25 plus years in loyalty marketing and technology experience. She crafts solutions that engage customers and fuel growth. She's a recognized thought leader and she frequently speaks at industry events. And with that, I'll hand it over to Sarah.
Hello, everyone. This probably is one of my most fun webinars to do because it hits close to my heart because it's all about the power of purpose. It's giving back. It's taking care of, those in the community, taking care of our own members, taking care of our own employees. All of those things are super important. So I'm excited to officially dive into this. So as always, if you've been a part of my webinars before, I always like to start with the facts. So let's go through a couple of stats that will help you just understand how powerful making with a purpose is. So we're going to start with looking just across all buyers. When we think about the impact that their purchasing makes and how that's related to the ways that you give back to the community, with this stat, 45% of customers that are out there will more likely want to buy from a brand if they in some way, shape, or form take a portion of whatever they make in revenues and they donate it to a charity. And this could be your own foundations. This could be just local community support organizations where you have a passion for and giving back into the community. So 45% are going to change or want to buy from companies that do that. Now, that's all buyers across the board. Let's dive directly into the Gen Z market, which I know every single person has some initiative to acquire more Gen Z customers. 84% report that they would rather support or that they do support some type of nonprofit, charities, organizations, causes, volunteers in some way. So it's very near and dear to their heart, more than any other generation that is out there. And 71% of them would actually change brands. So if held side by side, if you are more charitable than a competing financial institution in your space, 71% of that younger generation would be more likely to want to change brands to you. All right, so that's customer impact. Let's look at employee impact. So this one was a little shocking to me, but actually really powerful. 71% of employees would be willing to take a pay cut to work for a socially responsible company. So if you are giving back, if you are creating volunteer opportunities, if you are doing good in the community, 71% of employees would rather take a pay cut and work for a company like that than to go somewhere else. And in fact, those employees, if they are involved in that corporate giving that you are doing, they will tend to stay 75% longer at those specific companies. And then, what we all love is we want employees that are happy and love coming into work and really have that positive company culture. And 96% of the employees that say when they volunteer with their companies, it really does report them saying, I love my company culture. They're very positive about it. And they just enjoy the relationship that they have with their employer. So this is also interesting. So nearly 2/3, so 66% of the younger generation, so those Gen Zs, prefer working at companies, again, that donates to charity. So we're, again, keeping that theme going. So not only do they want to do their business with financial institutions that donate, but they want to work for institutions that donate as well. All right, so we've talked about customers, we've talked about your employees. Now let's talk about bringing back in and who is actually attracted to this. So again, we talk about customers in general, but the right type of customers. So Among those customers who they themselves, independent of you, donate significantly, they volunteer, they're out there doing good and spreading love, of those individuals, 53% would choose to do business with a local financial institution. They understand the power of giving back and keeping local and doing the right thing. And that shows through in their behaviors. They want to actually do business with those local financial institutions. And this was very interesting to me. So around, just think about your credit card users in general. And we're going to actually dive deeper into the ones that are the most valuable to us, which are the highest spenders on the card. They're actually more likely to switch banks based on the charitable contributions. And if we look at it from the two different ones, the non-revolvers versus the revolvers, look at those numbers. 37% of those would want to switch to greater charitable impact. And of the revolvers, where you see, some of those additional fees that can drive ROI on your credit card rewards programs, that's up to 42%. So we know that they're engaged, and those are the types of people that we do want to bring in. And then the power of local involvement. Now, this should come as no surprise to anybody listening to this, but obviously doing local involvement, giving back to charities, it just strengthens the community ties that you have with that local community, which are your employees and the people that are going to use your financial institutions. And then the optics too, it just creates those really great positive optics. What we'll talk about often here at RAZR is around behavioral science and the power of optics when it comes to behavioral science and how that does change behavior. And we want all of those positive deposits into the mental account of the work, the good that you're doing in the space, and it will deepen the relationships that you do have with your members. Okay, so we know it's all important. It's important to attract the right type of people. It's important to attract the younger generations. It makes an impact on your own employees. So we know it's a must. But now the question is, what do we do about it? All right, so this is the ideas of where you should focus on. So first and foremost, volunteer programs. I'm hoping that each one of you have some type of employee volunteer programs in place. If not, this is your cue to go set up volunteer programs where your own employees can go out and do volunteer work. And of course, you want to engage with local causes because that will also reap dividends right back into your organization. Now, we're going to take it a step further. We're asking you to turn that volunteer work actually into rewards. So we want you to incentivize reward work, and you can use rewards points to do that. So if you have employees that are going out and doing volunteer work, you can reward them for giving of their time and their energy and their efforts. You can also ask your own members and customers to come alongside you and volunteer with you. So for instance, I talked to several banks and credit unions that by chance have partnerships at local universities. This is a great opportunity to do and run volunteer events right on campus. And there's all kinds. I know like Feed My Starving Children has mobile food station setups where they can actually come into a gymnasium, set out all the supplies. You can bring in students to pack food for Feed My Starving Children. So you can encourage them to come right alongside you and do volunteer events. And then you can actually, if they are a member of yours, you can say, well, you're already in our rewards program. So because you came and volunteered with us at Feed My Starving Children, we're going to put an extra 100 points into your rewards account. So now you are giving them value from helping you out in the space. You're drawing the connection to their volunteer work. And for people that aren't yet members or customers of your financial institution, they're seeing the good that you're doing and they are participating in that, which can lead to net new members wanting to join your organization. So again, ask your members, ask your customers to come and volunteer right alongside you, and reward your members for doing so and reward your employees for doing so. Okay, the next one to think about is charity donations. So most of us have rewards programs of some shape or size. But one of the things when we have our points or we have our dollars, as a customer or a member, we get to choose what we do with those. And a really great option is to create a path where they can donate points to charity. So you need to set up the plan or the place to allow them to do so. And there's, again, a couple different ways to go about this. Most rewards programs have something called a charity choice card. If you're not familiar with it, they purchase it as if they would a gift card in whatever denomination makes the most sense to them. And then from that charity choice card, they go to the charity choice website. And there are thousands of charities that they can then choose to donate whatever incremental value that they purchase on the gift card and give that to the charity of their choice. There are national organizations, there are local organizations in there. It's a really great first step to allow rewards to be part of your experience. Now, what we also challenge people to think about is your own foundation. So I would also strongly encourage you to set up a custom store in your member reward site where they can go to it, see the work that your foundation is doing. Oftentimes it's out of sight, out of mind. Your members or your customers aren't always going back to your website. They're not doing their own research into the foundational work that you might be doing. But they're going to the reward site frequently. And so having some real estate space where you can show them the value of the partnership that you have with them, and then what that partnership means and allows you to give back to that local community. You know, whether it's videos, photographs, awards, scholarships that you're awarding, you can showcase those things in there. And then again, give your members or customers the path where they can take some of their rewards points or dollars and donate it right to your foundation. Now, and all that being said and done, I know this industry well. You will not actually get that many donation dollars that will come through this process. That's not why you're doing it. This is really about the optics. You guys are already doing really great work, and we want your members to know and experience it, and to feel good about the partnership that they have. So the reality of all of this is we want to extend and show what you're doing, but they're not necessarily going to donate your points to it. So I don't want people to get confused that they're going to rake in, hundreds of thousands of dollars by allowing their members to donate. That's just not the reality of it. But I don't want you to bypass the value of doing that, because the optics are critical. And that goes back to the behavioral science that we talked about before. When they're seeing it, they're able to interact, see the experiences that you're doing. They will, again, create a positive deposit into their mental account in their brain. Another area, and this is very important, that you can do is give financial education in times of need. So we live in a crazy world where things are happening all the time. Major events can disrupt local communities. I mean, just in the last year, between the hurricanes that we've had and the major wildfires that we've had, there's very big things that can completely disrupt a community. In addition to that, obviously we're still off the heels of COVID, and we know what that did to so many of our members. Or potentially, if you're working with very specific employment groups, sometimes there's strikes, sometimes there's issues that happen that they are working through. And during all of that, this is a source where you can step in and provide guidance and education and resources and give back to that local community to help them navigate the financial future that they need to go through for that. I'm actually going to highlight two very specific credit unions that I believe are doing it really well. So the first one that you see on here is First Entertainment Credit Union. And again, when we talked about the natural disasters, they are in the heart of the wildfires that happened out in the Los Angeles area. And so on the right-hand side, what you can see there is when we talk about giving back and helping people of the community understand how to navigate a financial future when they went through such devastation, you can see on the right-hand side, they organized sessions where people could come in and have access to FEMA, have access to attorneys and CPAs and different types of disaster recovery, teaching them, helping them, answering questions for them. So really giving back in that way. And then they leverage their own foundation to give back to very specific groups that they work very closely with, from financial dollars to help them get back on their feet. They were also very instrumental when there was the writer's strike. So they work with Warner Brothers Studios. And so when the writer's strike was going on, they worked very closely to help give relief and assistance to them. They are often always seen out volunteering in the community. If you follow them on LinkedIn on a weekly basis, you'll see their members and their employees out in the world volunteering at different events. So I would absolutely challenge you to go look at their LinkedIn profile, see all of the things that they're doing, and grab some inspiration from them. Another one that does a really great job is Truestone Financial. This is a Minneapolis-based credit union, and they're founded out of teachers. So they have just a love in their heart for financial literacy, for giving back to high schools, for being involved in the areas where their core base came out of. And so between scholarships, showing up at different high schools, again, doing financial literacy, they are making a big impact within the Minneapolis market. And they also have gone a step further, and they actually have their foundation and the ability to donate to their foundation right within their rewards program. So again, tapping into some of those other capabilities that you can do to just, again, increase that power of purpose. All right, so we've talked about credit union space and all those other great, amazing areas, but we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. So power of purpose at RAZR, this is something that is so essentially important to us. So at RAZR, how we have gone about this is we actually give every single employee that comes into RAZR, above and beyond their vacation time, they get 40 hours per year to do volunteer work. And we actually have an entire committee that just organizes events. So they set up cool events, whether it's, a Habitat for Humanity, a Feed My Starving Children, donating at a local nursing home, doing gifts for seniors. They create all of these events that our members or our employees can then go and volunteer with. But employees, we also encourage them to organize their own events, and then we will post it and we'll grab volunteers from within RAZR that can support the passions of our individual employees. And then again, if you're not a group person who wants to volunteer in groups, but you have some things that are very special to your heart, you can do your own individual projects and go where you have a passion and you have a heart for it. And gosh, over the past, even if you look at the past 1 year, 12 months, we've served more than 40 different unique organizations through the power of RAZR and what we're doing to give back. In addition to that, when I say you can reward people for doing good work, we also do that as well. So every single hour of that 40 hours that one of our employees volunteers their time, we give them a bonus hour of PTO, which is really incredible. So not only do we give them time to go and do something that's important to them, we'll also give them a bonus time. So if somebody wants to do a mission trip to Haiti, we will also give them a bonus week of vacation on top of that as well. Couple of quick examples of some projects that are near and dear to our hearts. So every year we do a Christmas blessing. And so we have partnered with some amazing social workers at a school here in the Minneapolis area. And these social workers deal with a very specific group of individuals that are either homeless or they're facing some significant instability. And they just need some additional help around this time. So we want to be there to help where we can. And so what started off as a very small project has grown exponentially, and we absolutely leverage the entire RAZR community and organization. So we do fundraising in the community to bring in funds. We are the hands and feet. So we are out there shopping for these families, and we are wrapping all of these gifts, and we are organizing and we are delivering. And it is such an impactful thing. We call it our chalet, becomes like this winter wonderland through the month of December. So you can see some of our fierce employees out there shopping and wrapping and putting everything together. And just to understand the impact of, when I say our chalet is completely taken over by these gifts, it absolutely is. But I can tell you, like, the joy of being in this office and seeing everybody wrapping and laughing and joking and helping, and really very specifically knowing a very specific child and his wants and his needs, and being able to get him his boots and his winter jacket and the toys that he wants and the art supplies that they want. It just gives us so much joy to be able to do that as well. Another area that we have done some significant volunteer work is with Firefighters for Healing. So one of our major hospitals here is the largest burn unit in a 7-state area. So families, and specifically kids, are flown in for any type of treatment with their burns. And Firefighters for Healing, they do so many incredible things. They have a summer camp for kids with burn trauma, to be around with other people that are like them, and their families get to come in. And it's such a healing, fun time for them. They recently built a $6 million facility right next to the hospital with 12 mini apartments and community space where these families have a safe place to stay while their loved ones are getting treatment. And so many things beyond that, but obviously it takes some pretty substantial funds to help this out. So we have been involved in their galas. A signature event for us is their annual golf tournament. We run registration. We caddy the golf clubs to the carts. We help organize the silent auction items, and really just being extra hands and feet for this organization, which is just such a powerful thing. Okay, so obviously I could go on this all day long. You can tell I'm very passionate about this. I love being able to give back and support these organizations. And you can do the same thing. And we want you to tell and share your stories and include your employees and your members, all of that. So before we wrap everything up, it's a kind of a quick, fast one today, which is good. I actually want to hear from you. So Jackson has a poll, and I just want to see where you're at right now in the evolution of your credit unions, if you're doing some of these things that we just talked about. So Jackson, do you want to launch that poll for us?
Yes, I will launch it right now. Can you guys see that come across your screen? Not yet.
When it does come up across the screen, it's a multiple choice. So check all that are relevant to your organization. And we're just looking to understand if you do have volunteer programs that you're running today, if you're rewarding individuals around those programs, if you are including your members or your customers into those solutions or programs that you're running. If you have your own foundation, if you're including it into your rewards programs. There are just some fun things to think through and be able to answer. And Jackson just dropped off quick, so we'll see if he jumps back in. There was a little kind of a glitching thing going on in our webinar system today, so we'll see if we can get that posted for you. And if it doesn't end up coming up, that's okay too. But feel free to also let me know. Personally, you can drop messages to me just to let me know your journey and your path. We always love to hear those stories. Jackson, do we think it's going to post, or?
It looks like we did get some feedback on it. I'm not sure why it didn't show on the screen for me, but a couple people voted or provided some feedback. So ways in which they were leveraging power of purpose at their financial institution. Mm-hmm. A couple answers for employee volunteer programs and financial literacy programs, it looks like.
Nice. Two very important areas. Well, we appreciate that we are with like-minded individuals that are giving back and really focusing in on that power of purpose. And we just encourage you coming out of this call to think about what else you can do in your space and how else you can get creative around your own foundations and your own volunteer work. And I just thank you all for coming in today. And we look forward to you joining us in our future webinars. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.